Thank y'all for joining us. And we are so excited to welcome Miya Bailey to the couch and our pseudo living room.
Yes, fly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You've been on this couch many a time.
Yeah, I know, man. So I was proud to see it in a different place. It's really fly.
Well, I was gonna say, first of all, the illest thing is Miya's responsible for, gosh, probably like a fourth of the introductions in this room.
No.
You don't think so?
No, I think Miya's probably responsible directly or indirectly to at least 50% of our collection.
Oh, wow.
That's wild.
At least 50% of the collection.
That is wild. Yeah.
I'm thankful.
Yeah.
That's
It's
fine.
mind-blowing. Like, you've touched a lot of lives.
I know. Y'all made me realize it.
Yeah, like I remember, and it's funny to read, like when we first moved to Castleberry, Alfonso was at Boxcar, and he knew we were doing this art thing, and he knew about Articulate, and he asked us, he was like, y'all know Miya? Y'all need to know Miya Bailey. We're like, okay, where he at? No, we didn't say where he's
That was a girl.
because
Yep.
I thought he was a girl.
Yeah.
So no, Alfonso told us to go down to City of Ink. We went down to City of Ink, and AD was having her solo show down there.
I remember that.
And AD, George was like, are you Miya? And she laughed at it. And almost every time it felt like we went down to City of Ink for probably that first 6 to 9 months, it felt like the music stopped. Like we was trying to sit at the cool kids table, and they was like, what y'all doing? Like, we don't know y'all. Like, why y'all keep showing up? Like, who are these people? Because
You got to
I don't
see
think
him,
we would
yeah.
have Paper Frank's piece if not for Ian.
I met Frank through his guidance counselor, which is my classmate. And his guidance counselor, she called me up. He was 16 at the time. She was like, I got this student. He is talented as you. He kind of standoffish, but he's super talented. He remind me of you, and I'm worried about him if he gonna graduate high school. And I was like, if he do graduate high school, because I had my own children at the time, I was going through my own stuff, my own kids. I don't want to add on another burden with a teenager. So how about if he make it out of high school, send him down to Atlanta.
Okay.
If he make it, in the Atlanta world, a lot of people come from a small town, when they get to the city, they like, oh, it's overwhelming and all this stuff. I was like, I didn't want him to think it's going to be easy for him. So I was like, damn, look at his portfolio. There was a mixture between like my style and then some of Corey's style at the time. I'm like, oh, he been studying Corey's work. He been studying my work. He wants this position.
Wow.
But I didn't give it to him easy. And I was like, yeah, do a couple of art shows in Atlanta. You know how hard that is to say.
Yeah.
Do a couple of art shows in Atlanta. I see what, if you got that hustle in you. And then he did the art show at New Era.
Where was that at?
New Era store was on Lucky Street.
Okay.
Near the Tabernacle, not that far from the Tabernacle. And that's when they started calling him Paper Frank.
Wow. Okay.
And then
that was the beginning of that.
I was like, that's a good show. I was like, you need to check out Apache Cafe, man. That's where I got my start at. It was yin yang then, but I was like,
Yep.
I'm like, go to the Apache. Next thing you know, he did a solo show at the Apache. And I was like, that's when I introduced him. I was like, okay, yeah, I want you as my apprentice. I'm gonna introduce you as my apprentice. We're gonna do a solo show at City of Ink for you. Monster Energy Drinks sponsored it. Like Tookie made sure he was stylish. I bought some gold bottles. We just we have an image for my boy. You know what I'm saying? Come out after, because he was my next apprentice after the Corey. So automatically he was gonna be like pop. I was at my prime. I was younger, and I was just like, whoever's gonna be my apprentice gotta earn it. And I feel like he earned it.
It's so wild, like you explain it almost like it's a domino effect. Like there's this interconnectivity between everything that happens, right? And that's how our collection started. Like literally one piece. Matter of fact, one of the things that you taught us was that one purchase begets the next purchase, right? And we interpreted it as, okay, like we spent $200 on this piece, so it won't be so much of a stretch when we spend $400 on the next one. But what's wild about it is it really ends up being you being introduced to another artist through another artist, through another collector, so on and so forth, right?
Yep.
Why do you think Atlanta has that type of energy? Like
I don't want a house to walk in and just one artist working the whole house. I want different different pieces from different artists. And I know this, and I'm like, I don't want to be the one that's going to be trying to just push my work out there. I want other people to get it. And if I hook up, man, I'm not going to get a finder's fee. If I'm the curator, I'm going to get a percentage anyway. Right. That's business too, but at the same time, it's like, if you create and cultivate and focus on the culture alone, just the art collective culture alone, it's going to make more people. Because I've seen it happen with artists. Like, it wasn't as many artists at first. Now everybody, the cool, like you say, the cool kids or something. That artist, when artists, you wasn't the cool kids at first. You know what I'm saying? Now it's cool to be an artist now. You know what I'm saying?
You ain't the weird kid no more.
Yeah, but now it's cool to be an artist, and it's the thing to be. And I'm like, okay, I see now. And then when we were thinking about it, it was with intent. Like, we all sat down and had a meeting about it. It wasn't like it wasn't a purpose. We studied the artists that was here. We was like, how can we make artists look cool? Wow. Because the collectors got to start young. And if we can get them to say, hey, between a painting or some Jordans, then we get them even the thought of that, we on the right page. And that's what we did. We moved with intent. We thought about how to make artists cool. People like, oh, why are you smoking weed and doing this? It was just tools. I use all that as tools. Yeah. I do smoke weed. I smoke a lot of weed. But when you taking pictures of me doing it, it was a tool of market or certain demographics. Like, oh, the weed smoke. Oh, he cool. Oh, this and that. I just studied Pac. I studied Bob Marley. I studied Picasso. I studied all these people. And I'm like, they made it look cool. Yeah. And I can use these certain stereotypical bullshit imagery of black men, and I'm gonna make it look cool. And once I got the hook in them, then I can bring in man who really Miya is.
Mold it yourself and whatnot. Yeah. It's wild because
I knew I was judged from the gate. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, and that's cool.
But but like you came in one way and you broke the mold.
But you also when I don't know if you remember, I interviewed you back in 15 or 16. And I did this series of 4 interviews. You were one of the interviews, and I asked you about longevity, and you show up for people. Yeah. We have learned so much from the way you show up for people. You come out, you show up, you support, you share, you do whatever you can to help other people, and in turn you help yourself. It's not you don't do tit for tat, but you do it. And we learn that lesson from watching you, but also how you grow and cultivate that arts ecosystem. You did it in Castleberry, but it goes so much further than that. So even our move to Castleberry and what it meant to be able to just be in proximity to somebody like you. I don't know, again, half of this collection is because of you, but then you got lessons that you done taught us on top of that. And I don't believe that some of these artists would be where they are doing what they're doing if not for you being in the space doing what you do.
I just love it though. I'm doing it for love. I'll make my own money. So I don't really think about it that way. I'm doing it honestly because I grew up in the era where my grandmother and my mother and them was teaching me about the Nation of Islam, the Black Panther Party, community building, caring. And I'm being from a small town, I seen the importance of community. Because I wouldn't be here without my community back home. They support the heck out of me. And I'm that's the only way I know how to do it. Gotcha. There's not another thought. I'm man, if I'm free, it don't affect my money, I'm going to be there. Right. You know what I'm saying? The best I can do it, and I'm going to buy stuff too. I'm not just going to show up. I'm going to try to purchase too.
It was one articulate. We got a picture of you with 4, 5, 6 pieces. You can't even carry out all the pieces.
I'm feeling good.
Man. One of the things that I've been impressed about is, so I'm a high school teacher, right? And legit, some of my students come up and they're not great artists. Yeah. Some of them come in with a hunger and a thirst, and they build up their portfolio or they build up their art skill. You literally take young artists into your space that you see that hunger in them, and you work on them with their skills and their talent and their time. Yeah. And it seemed like we keep getting and seeing the growth out of your apprentice and the people that work with you to a level that we haven't seen amongst some artists that came into the game with the skill.
I believe in like the master trained the apprentice to destroy him. Like I don't like my position I'm in is because the universe and God and everything set me up. You know, I had to go through everything I had to go through, learn these lessons, put in a position. I don't believe that's an accident. I believe that it's divine, something divine. And it's not even my call, a personal calling. It's like nothing. I don't do it. I had to learn how to love it. Like I'm in this position. Why are people coming to me? And I had to humble myself and understand that God was putting me in a position for me to help somebody else. Okay. You know, like a conduit. So,
like you helped us.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I feel like it's a conduit. Like I'm not in control. I learned a long time about philosophy is just to go with the current, not to go swim against the current. Go with the current, get further.
Yeah.
And so I just go with the flow, which is momentum, or whatever it is in the universe is pushing me towards something. Mm-hmm. And so like when I see somebody and I'm like, hey, they ain't the best artist, she ain't the best artist, he ain't the best artist, but I see drive, I see ambition. Mm-hmm. My number one way is how they treat other people. That's the number one. It's all about that for me. It's how they treat other human beings. You know, everybody gonna treat me good. I can be blinded from that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody gonna treat me
They're gonna say yes.
Yeah, they're gonna be. So I bet it took me time because I don't look at myself how other people see me. Mm-hmm. So it took lessons for me to, you know, like, I love that person. That's a good person. They like, wow, that motherfucker really ain't that good of a person. They good to you. And I'm like, oh, what? You know? And I had to realize that people see me in another way I didn't see myself. So it's like, I try to create apprentices to take my place one day.
Wow.
Like, if I helped you this way, your job to help someone else the exact same way and follow the same thing like my mentors did for me. Okay. So I'm like, I just try to create people that they work harder and have this ambition to take me out of the light. And my goal is to be in the shadows. That's my personal goal. Everybody got their own personal. Some people might to be out the shadows and be in the light. Mm-hmm. I've been doing art my whole life professionally since almost kindergarten.
Right.
I want to be out the light and live a regular life and be a granddaddy, read comic books, smoke weed, walk the streets.
That's right.
You know, like my life is very simple about my happiness. My happiness don't entail a lot of material things. It just begins with time and relaxation and seeing people really smiling because they like really doing it. And I love to see young people make a living off their art because that's all I know.
Right.
You know, it was hard. It wasn't easy, but to see someone make a living off their art and they're young, man, and they have to do no crime to get there and nothing else. Man, I mean, why wouldn't I want to see that for my people? I love that shit. I love it a lot.
That's what's up.
Like, you know, like Andrew and Petey just opened up their spots, their locations. I mean, brick and mortar locations. Andrew on his second location within a 2-year ministry. Like, I work with him for 2 years solid every day.
That's wild.
Write it down. He followed directions to a T. Petey, you know, he followed directions, but you know, and, you know, he did it his way. You know what I'm saying? Right. But it's just beautiful to see. Like now, y'all got brick and mortar. When you got a brick and mortar building to go to now, you know what your job is to employ people now because you can't do it by yourself.
That's interesting.
And that's the ecosystem.
That's
even larger. Right now the network is even larger.
We're working on employing people right now. Because I got a lot of former students there.
Man. And that's my whole thing. Because some people will come into my state of employment mind state, and some people will come into my state of I'm gonna be a boss one day. And I once I realize what everybody's mission is or agenda is, then I know how to feed them. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Some people I just want attention. I want people to recognize how dope I am. I'll feed you that. Right. That's all you want.
Yeah.
Some people I want to open my own studio and put my own people as long as I know, then I'm going to feed you that knowledge.
That's interesting.
And everything that everybody want, I know how to do it to make the machine run. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's his personal oil.
Do you ask the question or do you just observe and figure out?
I observe it first and give everybody a few months. I observe it first and see how they treat people and how they move naturally and what questions they ask me on their own. And then once they start asking me a question, it might take a year. The second year, I focus on what their personal goals are. Okay. But the first year is about me filling them out. It's always going to take me 12 months to fill someone out to see how much I'm going to invest in them.
Oh, wow.
Because, you know, an apprenticeship for me is 2 to 3 years. Usually 2 years, and that third year, I can send them on their way. Okay. They can send them out the nest. Sometimes it take longer. But usually I give somebody at least a 2-year time with me, and then I send them on their way to open up their own things.
So, and not to be self-serving, the question I have for you is just around the Galbreaths collection. We do it from the heart, right? Like, it was born with the universe and God conspiring, and, you know, like it became this thing. And then that became a book. But we wonder from somebody like you, without feeling like fishing for compliments or whatever, like, what do you think about the book, the collection? Like, I don't know, it's dope. Like,
nah, it's more than dope. It's more than dope. Is really taking the bull by the horns and leading. Like, I don't look at it like it's just dope. Everything dope. I mean, your collection is dope. But
Man, right.
But supporting these artists, man, means so much, man. Like, you broke so many people cherries on that, to that artist's self-esteem. You know what I'm saying? To be in your collection is like I tell all my apprentices when they first start, if you can get a piece of your collection, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all are my go-to when it comes to that. I tell all my apprentices that, like, yo, check this out. Look, you know, and I let them know, like, with intent, like, this is what you need to be aiming for. This is, like, they setting the bar. Then I also think about business-wise. I'm like, damn, their collection gonna be worth so much motherfucking money.
That's the hope.
Yeah, like as long as the artists y'all got keep consistent.
Yeah.
And
which
that's
I'll
what we
make
look
sure.
for.
Yeah.
But that's what we look for. Like, are you working? Like, are you
Man,
working? Before we
imagine
buy,
that.
like, are you working?
Imagine the people who bought them early Basquiat's.
Right. Right.
We're selling for millions now.
Or the early Maya Baileys.
Oh, yeah. But it's just like, think about it, man. I think about stuff like that and I think about that and I'm like, man, this is like, it's more than dope. It's historical.
Yeah, the quote,
And you share it.
We try. The quote that Fahamu had put in the book was like, your collection says, I believe in you out the gate. Like, you ain't waiting on somebody else to tell you like what it is.
Yeah.
But again, because of you and your work, we have we know where to go to be introduced to, right? Like, one of like the Samita standout pieces, what I call a standout piece, like the showstopper, like everybody like stops. Is Dizzy's piece.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that came from the anniversary show.
Yeah, because you got to taste. I was looking at some the other day, I think on YouTube yesterday. It was the Mr. Childs, the restaurateur. You know, yeah, you know he's an artist. A lot of people don't know that. He's a painter. He used another alias.
Okay.
He uses M, which his real name is Michael.
Okay.
So he used that, and he was like, the number one thing is just having taste. Like, everybody don't have taste.
Right.
And people don't understand the importance of that. I feel like I got taste.
I got taste. I feel like I got taste.
Yeah. So it's
We
like,
got taste.
yeah. So people
We ain't
got,
got a lot of money, but we got taste.
and if you got taste, you can see someone that's going to be that person before they be that person.
Yeah.
And that's important, man. That's very important, man.
That's right.
I went through a part when I was buying my earlier work, SPAC, so I can resell it for higher.
Wow. That's real though. Yeah.
But now, like, yeah, I remember one day I was in that Uber when Uber first started, and this dude was like, "Yo, right, man?" I was like, "Yeah, man, I own a painting for you." What? Well, I heard word. He was like, "Yeah, man, I own Voodoo." Now I was like, my eyes got big. I was like, "What?" He was like, "You was the person who bought that painting, which was sold to him through Loyada, was the curator. He was Loyada sold my first painting back in painting in Atlanta. Loyada did. So Loyada sold that painting. I only wanted, it was Christmas time, I was broke, and it was $2,000. I made $1,000 from the painting, and the dude showed me some paperwork that he had in his damn pocket. I randomly his head. I was like, I just got it appraised, and I'm about to sell it for, like, if you want to buy, I want to buy. I'm thinking he gonna say, you know, a couple of thousand, you know. And I'm like, yeah, I want like 60,000 for it. I got it appraised for like, it was like $55,000 or something. I was like, what? My shit.
Right.
And I couldn't even buy it back. But he was like, I'm trying to sell it so I can move to Africa. That's all he was talking about.
Wow.
And I think he ended up doing it because he started calling me about Eric. He was calling me like, you want to get it? Like, I can't afford that right now, bro. I ain't spending that much money on my work. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we appreciate you. We appreciate everything you do, brother. Like, yeah. So, hey, keep doing it until that one day when you just walking the streets and minding your business and chilling. Hey.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Grandma Ye on point too.
Yes, it is.